Dear intern, it's past day 45. It's August 18th. On the day of this recording, you've done 45 plus days of intern year. You've been in the OR, you've treated COPD, or you're doing your TY year. And probably if you're in a TY year, this video doesn't apply to you because you're probably just chilling with your feet up, relaxing, and the prelims are doing all the work. Okay. So what's the purpose of this video? You're at a crossroads and you're bummed. You're not feeling it. You don't think the program that you're at is for you. And the NRMP made it clear, conditioned that you have to see 45 days through your program. Any thoughts of leaving the program previously were illegal, forbidden, haram. Now what? Now you're free, you're untethered, and you can consider moving out, switching, transferring. And the goal of this video is to teach you the basic steps to how to transfer programs. So the first thing you need to do is you need to talk to people around you, okay? In a discreet way, talk to those who you trust in the program about your situation. Or if there's no one you trust in the program, talk to your med school deans or reach out to previous letter writers or any mentors and tell them. And that's what I did. I reached out to the dean of my med school first and I spoke to her. We did a Zoom call. Obviously, I had graduated. She made time for me. Why did she make time for me? Because I reached out. Nobody will help you unless you reach out. It's just plain and simple. I spoke to her first. And then I spoke to one of the surgeons who I worked with at my med school also. And I talked about why I'm unhappy, what steps I could take. The first thing I was advised is if there's a way for you to transfer specialties within your program, do that. And that's by far the easiest way. However, it's challenging because of politics. The same PD might not want to give you up to their rival PD, quote unquote. And there was a lot of drama between the PDs at my program that I learned about later. So I would be careful. But you have to garner support, you got to reach out, and you have to really decide, is this something you really want to do? Okay? It's a big undertaking, it's a big risk, and it has the potential to ruin your career. It has the potential, though, to improve your career drastically, which was the case for me. Okay? Once you make that decision, you have to know you can't transfer twice. Transferring once is a red flag. Transferring once is a green flag if you spin your cards right, if you play it right. But transferring twice, it's a definitive red flag. So you have to know that you're leaving to a program that you're now going to commit to. Doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter how abusive it is. You transfer twice, no one's going to buy your story. Just the reality, okay? The other thing you have to do, and I hope you've been doing this the whole time, is you have to perform your best at the current program that you're in. One of my letters came from the PD of the program that I left, okay? What does that mean? That means I did not alienate my program director. I did not get, senioritis or because I'm transferring, just give up on the program and be lazy. No, I performed to the last day and I worked till the last day until my last shift ended at like 1 p.m. or something on a Wednesday. And I was starting my new program like 3 days later, and I had to drive across the country. They didn't give me any slack, and I didn't give them an excuse to give me slack. I didn't underperform. I wasn't lazy. You can't do that. You have to perform your best because you need to garner the support of your program director, okay? And your next program is going to call, potentially, your program director, potentially other attendings, potentially anybody that you've worked with. The next thing I'd like you to do is discover those who've transferred before from your program. And that's also something that I did. So what do I mean by this? If you're at a program where you're transferring out, you're wanting to transfer out, chances are there's a reason for that, okay? Chances are you're not the first one to discover that they want to transfer. So don't reinvent the wheel. Reach out to people to find out who transferred before. I would get their phone numbers and I would call them because you don't want any of this stuff in writing. And that's what I did. I called 2 people who transferred before and I asked them. And the number one thing they said to me is the PD will support you if you want to transfer. And that was very important to me, okay? So the reality is you don't know your PD until you ask about him or her, okay? Here's another thing. Now it's time to really have a tough conversation, okay? And I would suggest you meet with your PD and your chiefs and not mention transferring. Don't threaten them with anything. Just tell them very bluntly, very politely, very diplomatically, I have some needs at this program that I'd like you to help me with. I need a rotation here. I'd like to work with this attending, etc., etc. And see if it's possible for them to accommodate you, okay? Give them a sincere effort for them to accommodate you. And if they don't return it with a sincere effort, then you have your answer. Now it's time to transfer. That's what happened with me. I was supposed to get, I wanted a radiology rotation. I didn't get it. I went to the IR suite to hang out with the interventionalist. They didn't let me. They put me between a rock and a hard place. I had to make a choice. Okay. So we basically went over, you got to perform your best. You got to consider staying. Okay. You got to meet with your PD to make sure that they can accommodate you. Okay. If you've done all of that and you've still decided that's it, it's not going to work out, now it's time, to spread your wings, to look up onto the horizon, all right, to perch and search. So first thing you're going to do, you're going to garner support, not from your PD now. You have to wait. You're going to garner support to transfer from previous letter writers, your deans, anyone who you've worked with who's written you a letter. You need to ask them, I'm going to transfer. I need you to write me a new letter. And I'm going to need you to send it out to a program director, a program coordinator, like that on a moment's notice. It needs to be prepared, okay? And then you've already discovered the previous transfers, so you know the process. The last thing now you're going to do is you're going to start emailing every single program that you're interested in. You're not going to go on Residency Swap website. It's a waste of time. You're not going to go on Reddit. You're going to email every single program coordinator or program director if you can get their email. You're going to go on the ERAS. You're going to go on Resident Finder, Doximity, and whatever. And you're going to email them your resume, your med school transcript, your CV, your USMLE scores, and a little cover letter. And you should combine all of this in one PDF so that you just send them one thing. And it should have a picture of you also, and your ERAS application. You got to give them all the information that they need. It would be, the best thing is also if you're able to attach your letters of recommendation to that, but I know that sometimes that's not possible. So if they respond to you, I have an open spot, right away. And I know it's very lazy because you have to, sometimes you want to be lazy because it's very hard to do this, to follow through, but you have to follow through. You have to put the extra effort to email your letter writers and provide them with the email address and the phone number and tell them, hey, can you send this as soon as you can, please? And so that's how you're going to find a program, okay, is by cold emails. It's the only way. And why is that? And the Residency Swap website even talks about it. Because program coordinators have a stack of people who are desperate for residencies, okay? And that's the reality. And they're just, if someone drops out from their program, they can just look through that stack and find someone, okay? So you have to be in that stack. And the best way to get to the top of that stack is to have good scores and good letters. End of story. The last step is call me and I'll talk to you and I'll guide you, all right? You can book a call with me by emailing me and we can chat, we can video chat on Zoom. Subscribe, like, comment your questions, I'll answer them. And I'm happy to book a session and guide you further.